Hello everyone, this is Zoltar, and welcome back to our third Offworld trading company Expansive campaign. Last time went pretty well. We made plenty of money. Water went ridiculous. We got EMP'd. We should have goon squad. It was fine. We still won. Not going to worry about it too much. Our labor pool this time is unimpressive, in my opinion. We can get the engineering lab, which I don't really like all that much. The game doesn't feel like it goes long enough for the engineering lab to make a huge difference. Now, I think if I got it down early and could seriously pump resources into it, maybe that would change, but I'm not confident with it yet at this stage. So I think this time, because I'm not really impressed with any of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this kind of a saving round. I'm just going to grab this elemental quarry engineer. That brings our elemental quarries up to that 100% production, makes everything a lot easier on us. Make sure we have plenty of silicon and or carbon coming in if that becomes necessary at any point. And just go with that and save the rest of the money for next round when hopefully we'll have some better options. So let's go ahead and look at what missions we have available. We can get a chems shipment coming in. That's kind of a nice perk, especially if we wanted to do something like grab an engineering lab for later. We got to unlock scientific, not interested in that. Slant drilling is real good. I really want to fight for slant drilling, guys. Like, we'd be up against Omega Espionage Corps and one of these guys probably. Let's see, they are a scavenger headquarter with an EMP and an underground nuke. We've already been up against them once before. Quite frustrating to fight against the scavengers. They seem to do very well in these for whatever reason. But I think it would be a nice thing to try. I think it's what we're going to go for. We're going to try and fight Omega Espionage Corps. See if we can get this slant drilling done. Okay.
Low levels of aluminum found.
Found some aluminum. That's a nice start. It's worth noting that population's at 1 out of 4 with 2 jobs. So if we get an early purchase, we should probably push for this leisure building, if at all possible, which is going to cost about 3,500. Another thing a chem shipment can do for us is maybe make some of this early building purchasing easier. So that's well worth noting. This is a real nice spot, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw down right on top of it. Grab these nice mines. We'll figure out water in a little bit, but for now, maybe we'll just go very hard into the mines for now. Go ahead and get our adjacency bonuses going. Oh, high water right there. We don't have slant drilling yet, though. Over here, there's medium water. We'll just wait on the water. We are only up against one opponent, which is also worth noting. We could even just throw down a couple steel mills and be all right for now. I'm tempted that way. Lets me throw around my resources a bit more aggressively in the early game. So let's sell out of whatever we can and push for this leisure building. That way we've got it. Keeps the population growing constantly in the early game, which is exactly how we want it to be. And that's very, very nice for us. It's exactly how we want it to be. Okay, so water. What are we looking at? We've got some here, some here. Not much water on this map at all. That's going to be very difficult to deal with. No ice even. So we have to consider, we still don't want necessarily offices or labs instead of the leisure buildings because, quite frankly, we can't make electronics and we can't make chemicals. And yes, this one is chems and glass. And if you were listening to my last video discussion, I kind of went off about glass a little bit. I still don't really think that's enough for glass, personally. Pirates potentially quite nice. Our opponent hasn't actually put out any buildings yet. He's just getting around to that now. We'll go up to 8,000 for pirates, and then I think we'll just hold them, because I imagine water is going to become crazy valuable later in the game, and I don't think I need to get super aggressive with these pirates immediately. So we'll just push for an expansion fairly quickly. Grab, I think, this high water tile and then that medium water tile. I think those are the two most important water tiles on the map are going to be those ones. Take both of them now because they're both just very important tiles in general. Grab up the high silicon tile, which should also be helpful. Our opponent's got, okay, he's got carbon quarries over there, which are doing him well for now, but he needs to use the carbon, so it's not that big a deal. And then we have one claim left. Now, obviously, we're keeping power down in a lot of ways because we have this solar panel down already that's being very effective. Let's go ahead and get that water pump thrown out. Did we get a quarry? No. We can go ahead and establish, I think, these 2 quarries. Underground nuke. Where did it land? Oh, on our iron. All right. That tells us maybe I'm not going to do this quarry. And the EMP comes down as well. That's fine. We'll just grab this little tile here. Make sure we've got iron coming in. And then maybe we'll push for... Oh, no black market this game. Not going to push for anything. I forgot about that in the rules. Didn't notice it. Water surplus super sucks for us, because we already established quite a lot of water tiles. But it is very nice to know we don't have to actually do anything like purchase goon squads or protect ourselves, particularly this game. These two water tiles still going to be extremely valuable. They're 1.5 water apiece, not counting the effects they have on this tile once they're up, so that's very nice. Electronic surplus, not a big deal. That water surplus really sucks, though. Alright, let's see. Our opponent, likely not going to move into food. His electrolysis isn't that good either. He's focused more on electronics, so we really don't want office buildings going up at all. He also has an engineering lab. He has a hacker array, which kind of sucks, and his elemental quarries are fantastic, of course. Shouldn't be any surprise there. Could buy up a little housing right now, since it's as cheap as it's ever going to get. Leisure buildings are better, but housing costs aluminum. Aluminum was $1. We'll just keep buying aluminum as long as it's at $1. And just go with that. Obviously, we sold out of all of it as the surplus got started. Alright, now we're just going to be pushing for an upgrade, I think. Can't really bounce around before the upgrade too much. We do have enough glass for it, which is nice. Another steel mill would have been a good idea at some point. I didn't realize, I had forgotten there was no black market. I thought I would be able to get a new claim and then go into the steel mill. That didn't really pan out. Oh, these surpluses really hurt. Like, this water surplus was devastating in a lot of ways, considering we had already devoted 2 tiles to water. It's exactly the kind of thing we couldn't afford to have happen. How much do we need? 5,000-ish right now? Can we push for that, please? There we are.
Worker morale is at an all-time high, thanks to the
really badly need another steel mill.
We'll be able to
Glass surplus is very nice, though. That's actually very, very helpful. So we got the steel mill down, and now I think we really just need to move into either food or electrolysis reactors. I'm kind of thinking the reactors for our next 3 tiles. We can be very aggressive with placement when it comes to potential adjacency bonuses for later in the game. And so we will be with these reactors. Just put them right next to the iron mines. We don't have to worry about any more black market coming out this game. And once again, we are still holding on to the pirates and our power surge, trying to wait for when they'll be at their greatest impact. You just have to remember them for when that time finally comes around. Now, this guy did grab up this water. Oh, come on. A steel surplus, too? This is insane. All right, we'll turn off our steel. Just keep gathering this iron. Hopefully this electrolysis carries us through. It's very good revenue. $84 a piece right now. And I think it'll get the job done. But we do need to make sure that we're upgrading this leisure building again as well. Oxygen shortage is going to help us out quite a bit in a lot of ways. I'm going to buy into that as much as we can manage. And now we're just waiting. We're just waiting. We'll upgrade leisure. We'll upgrade ourselves as soon as possible. We'll get farms down. Hopefully it'll all go just fine. A little more power also wouldn't hurt before too long. Leisure upgrade. Upgrade here. Sell here. We'll get down, I think, 2 more power tiles. That's plenty of power. And then everything else can go into just farms, which aren't that good, but should be plenty fine when we've got 4 water a second. And let's keep upgrading leisure. All right, good stuff. At least the colony is growing quite nicely. More housing, more leisure. We'll want to upgrade ourselves again before too terribly long. Thankfully, that shouldn't be overly expensive. Steel mills should be all right. Most of that cost is going to be power at this point. And so we can go ahead and commit into making sure the colony keeps growing first, then push for the upgrade, and we should be just fine. But when we upgrade, it's probably going to be mostly water that we take from here on. Like water here, maybe this water here just to be super safe. We'll have to really think about it though. We're going to have 6 claims, so if water here, it's a fair amount of water per second added on, but we have a long ways to go. So I'm thinking even just water, and then like water. Just commit that hard into water, and then all of our resources can kind of consume it or not as necessary. I mean, that's the production that we're good at. We may as well just stick to it, right? Okay, so just looking for an upgrade at this point. 27,000 is what it's going to cost. That'll keep going down as we keep making the steel that we're going to need to upgrade, as we keep making the aluminum that we're going to need to upgrade. And we're just going to commit completely into this play and hope we can make it work as well as it did last game, except without black market getting in the way. Lost the cash I need. Let's sell food.
Worker
Upgrade.
morale is at an
Claim,
all-time
claim.
high, thanks
Claim,
to the
claim,
infrastructure booster
claim.
approved. We'll be able to ship more industry.
Oh, I think we
off-Earth
can
in
make
no
that work.
time.
That might be okay. Our opponent will probably try to surplus water, but we can see the price is already going a little nuts. Now, we have been consuming a fair amount of it ourselves, but that's just to be expected. It's not really that big a deal, in my opinion. Iron shortage is good. Exactly the kind of thing we want to see. We'll turn off the steel mills, though. We have plenty of iron coming in. Our opponent does not. Should be very easy to make good use of these. Our reactors are falling off, have fallen off at this point. So we can go ahead and turn them off while we focus on this shortage, and then we'll make sure we keep buying into the colony. Sell, 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 sell. Surplus on silicon is rather unfortunate. We'll buy it at $1 just to make sure we have plenty of it laying around, but that's not really what we were looking for this game at all. Thankfully, we never committed to the second silicon quarry, so it's not hurting us near as much as it could be. Upgrade, 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 upgrade. There. Okay. Aluminum's still doing nicely. The reactors are awful. The farms, yeah, the edge farms, not so good. We'll turn them off. But look at all this water production. Hey, water's super valuable. Who could have predicted that this game? And now is the time of the pirates, of course. I really want to avoid the aluminum, so we'll just go there. Hope that intercepts at least these two water.
Bandits.
And we'll be okay. Oh, make sure we get these actual pumps down. I never did that, which also explains a lot of why water's gotten completely ridiculous. More than I was even expecting at first. And let's keep making these purchases. What's also nice is chems surplused early, which has made our leisure buildings less expensive because they do take chemicals to build. You'll see the nice distribution of chems, glass, and electronics necessary for all of that. A food surplus kind of sucks in a way, but it's not really that bad because it'll help the colony keep growing, which is what we're trying to do to guarantee we have future income. And now pretty much all of our money is coming from our steel mills, our solar panels, and our water pumps, and that's it. Come on, give me this water. I am getting at least some of the water from here, so that's good. More housing, more leisure. I don't see any reason to stop this as long as it works as it does, quite frankly. What's really nice is he also went into these electrolysis reactors, and that was a fair amount of where he was making his money from, and now he's just not making money from it, so that's good for us. He does have 3 water pumps, same as we do, and I think he's actually upgrading his water production. Was there another one I missed? There was. Which is unfortunate, so he will end up with fairly good water production as well, but I still don't think it's going to compare to ours. Whoa, he got that last little bit. That's unfortunate. I missed it. Oh well. Let's go ahead and turn these farms back on. It probably wasn't what we were hoping it was in the leisure building, but that's okay. I didn't even realize we had maxed out the colony that effectively. Sheesh. And we'll just keep buying into stock for now. Hopefully water stays strong, but once again, even if it doesn't, we have these reactors we can go with, we have the farms we can go with, and our production is going to stay strong regardless. Go ahead and power surge here, shuts down his hacker array from whatever he wants to do, and shuts down his reactors now that water's finally recovering. Food's still very, very nice, though. That's very good for us, because we can always move into food if we have to, even harder. If water truly just bottoms out completely. Which it very well may, with our opponent also having taken as much water as he possibly could, and upgrading his water production significantly. You can see he already has 2 upgrades on it. So these are basically the equivalent of medium tiles instead of low now. Thankfully, though, we got in the water first. He's having to upgrade into it. We knew this peak was going to happen. So we're still getting the better benefit out of it. And that's what's really important at the end of the day, isn't it? Alright, the farms are doing so well. Now we're just going to do that. Because why not? If we can keep this stuff low, then the colony will just keep growing, and that's more money for us at the end of the day anyways. So who cares? 28,000. There we are. And we are so far ahead on stock. There's no way our opponent will actually catch up to us. He's only pulled off 2 so far. Maybe that's just 1. I forget if it starts counting at 1, or I think it starts counting at 1. So he made 1 purchase right at the end into the colony. He purchased something, I have no idea what. It might have been this lab here for all I know. Which is fine. Not a big deal. It consumes chems. Guess what? That hurts him. Because he can't actually make chems and he's consuming chems. So if he did purchase that, it was exceptionally stupid of him. And if he didn't, well, then that would make a lot more sense. But I just don't know what he bought for sure. I'm just going to keep doing this. We may as well pay down some debt just to make sure we're not carrying that through for no good reason whatsoever. And, well, water's finally bottoming out, but you know what? We're consuming so much of it, I'm not too concerned about it. Like, we're only at plus 2.5. So really, we haven't overcommitted to water too much, in my opinion. And we're still okay. More shares in the colony. Drive our opponent out of the game as hard as we can. And I think we'll go ahead and speed things up a bit for this last little bit. All we have to really watch out for is shortages. And shortages are kind of dumb anyway, so I'm not really concerned about it. We have our production set up. We're not going to be transitioning it around. Nothing should happen too much to force us to. That's going to be too big a deal. We'll just pay down the last of our debt. A food surplus kind of sucks. We were hoping that food would stay reasonably high in price, but once again, it just means the colony will grow better. So it's not a huge deal at the end of the day. Another interesting thing is, with both of us just transporting so many resources from so far away, most of them water, it's actually driving the fuel price up significantly. So I could even go ahead and scrap out here and just move into more and more reactors as water keeps surplusing and fuel stays high. I don't see any reason not to. Got a little debt from power right now. Not too bad. Food, you all still doing good? Even this edge food? Yeah, even edge food is still fine. These surpluses really do suck. Most of them are going to be from our opponent's hacker array, I have to imagine. But we still have the reactors. Our reactors are still strong. He can't shut them down, too. So I'm not too concerned about it. Even if they are unfortunate. Our population is all the way up at 12, which is nice. That's maxed out. So we're basically getting as much money as we possibly could off of this. Especially as we keep buying into the colony. Keep blocking our opponent out from stock. Keep making all that money for ourselves. And this game should wrap up any moment. Let's go ahead and kick it up one last to AI test. Look how fast that is on AI test. Just for a moment. Skipped like 4 hours super fast. And then we were back to the last day. Buy up that last little bit of stock. And that's going to be the game. As per usual, our debt starting low, finishing quite high, up at close to $9, which is really, really good. That's going to matter at the end of the campaign when we come to the last round and everybody starts with whatever their stock price has been throughout the campaign. So that's going to be good to have a nice high stock price. Insane resource graph. Water did its peak. We were heavily into it for its peak. Then it managed to crash out because our opponent did get a lot of water consumed. But at that point, we just transitioned very heavily into food. As that came down, we were in fuel already. It was a very nice game for us. He kept consuming large amounts of chemicals. Us purchasing leisure buildings drove that up even more, which hindered his use of the engineering lab. It was generally a very nice little game, a nice little 1v1. That was pretty easy to understand and straightforward, but still had good reasons for pretty much everything that happened and everything we were doing. So, didn't make near so much on water that time because it only peaked and then fell off, but as you can see, we made significantly more on food because of this. That's why the water play is so nice. You can kind of force it to work in these scenarios no matter what, which is absolutely fantastic for an expansive player now that the colony consumes so much more than it used to. Consumed a fair number of chems purchasing stuff, bought a lot of steel, bought a lot of iron, shouldn't be any real surprise here at all, bought a lot of glass, but we really made use of those surpluses to help us upgrade, and we never had to actually get into our poor glass production, which was pretty nice for us. Sold some power. It was a fairly straightforward game, guys. We sold a lot of food, we sold a lot of water stuff, and we won. That's pretty much how it's always going to go when you're playing Expansive, I feel, if you're choosing to play it kind of focusing around those leisure buildings the way I am. Our opponent, same deal. He sold a lot of water. He didn't sell any food. Sold a little oxygen and fuel, not too much. And so he only made 100,000 and we made 500,000. So that's that game. We can check, what else? Let's actually check his tech. Let's see what he was doing with the tech. Yeah, he upgraded water production 4 times. 4 times he upgraded water production. Think about how much that cost him. Now, he made a lot off of water. He made, let's check. He made a good 84,000 on water, whereas we made only 73,000. But still, He made 13,000 more than we did, and think about how much he spent in chems to make that happen. He spent 29,000 in chems just on that, whereas we spent our chems kind of upgrading. Like, our chems did both. They both upgraded our water production by making water more expensive rather than making more water, right? So that's how we upgraded our water production with chems. And they increased our income at the end of the match. So ours were way better spent chems than his were. That's why I'm kind of nervous about the engineering lab in these games. And it all worked out very, very well. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Things should start getting more interesting next time. I imagine we're going to have a lot of money to spend on that labor pool. Hopefully something nice comes up and we'll be able to kind of switch up our gameplay a bit. But for now, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.